maintenance on the 944. No modifications. But we're doing a little something today because the front rotors on these things are a little bit different than other cars. And while we do that today, I'm also going to show you guys how to do a basic brake pad change because it's part of the process and how to remove them. And it'll be a little weird and maybe you'll catch it. Previous owner painted the calipers red, so I'm just going to give them a quick spray of silver. Make it look a little bit more OEM. But I am upgrading to slotted rotors. Unfortunately just for the front though, because Sebro is the OEM manufacturer for rotors for older Porsches. I don't know about new ones, but they only offer front slotted or drilled or cross drilled rotors and plain old simple ones for the rear. So I got those, and then literally a day after I got them, I did a little bit more research. And Zimmerman, if you get them off of Paragon parts, makes slotted rotors, but they're a little bit more pricey. A lot more pricey. So to give it an idea, you know, rear rotors were probably like 80 bucks for the pair, and one Zimmerman slotted is 156. So that's 300 bucks just for the rear. And we're on a budget for now. For now. The 944 will definitely get its love. But let's get started. So I already removed the front wheel. I did work on this a little bit yesterday just to freshen up this caliper, and I was doing other miscellaneous things. All you need for the lug nuts, 19 millimeter, pop it off, and we'll get started in the front. And I don't know if Trey wants to show you these brake pad changes on these cars. Super easy. It's got a safety clip in the rear, and you just got to finesse it out, and it holds these retaining pins. So let's see, grab some pliers. You can pop them out through the back. They slide out. Little spring plate right here, and there is a brake pad sensor on these cars that you need to be very careful with because they break extremely easily. I broke my rear ones when I upgraded to Hawk pads because they didn't really fit well, and I tried shoving them in, didn't work out too well, so now I got a constant brake pad on the car. But all you need is either a girthy flathead or a pry bar, and you just kind of compress it a little bit, pull one pad out, and bam, just like that. Let's see, please don't break. Ah, there we go. Yeah, little tiny guy. And the brake pads are out. I'll be reusing these pads because they still got plenty of life on them.
They got so much meat.
So much meat. They're Hawk pads. And to remove the caliper itself, it's two 19 millimeters on the rear. One towards the bottom. Alright. Removing the last 19. Make sure to hold the caliper so it doesn't just drop on you. And also, with this height that we have the car elevated, it's more than enough to keep the, no tension on the brake line. But you don't want it to be like stretched out. So if you can, get something just to suspend the caliper, take some stress off of it. And if you might notice with Porsches, I know 911s are the exact same way. And for 944s, for the front rotors, you have to remove the hub. It's not like a Honda where it's rotor hub. Obviously, we got this guy here. But it's not too bad. You just gotta pop off this cap with a little screwdriver. Bang it in there. Let me get a smaller guy. Get a hammer on my 4-pounder. Nothing crazy. And then you just start working it. Ideally, if you had a little punch, it'd be a lot easier.
Or like a puller tool.
Yeah. I know on some 911s even have threads right here, so you just pull it out. It's really nice. And there it goes. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Oh yeah. Bam! Just like that. And here, I don't know what you would call this.
It's like a C-clamp. It's like a clamp.
It is a clamp. It's a 6 millimeter Allen that all you got to do is break it, loosen it, and this whole little, kind of looks like a battery terminal, will just come off the spindle And that's literally all you need. So let's get started. Also, I was looking into other manufacturers for rotors, like StopTech. You know, they make some pretty good stuff. But unfortunately, with the NA cars, the aftermarket's not nearly as large as the turbo models. So it's just kind of like, and they only had anything available for a turbo. So, crack it loose. See if that's enough. It's not enough. Got Trey behind the camera today.
A little bit more involved.
It is a bit more.
Just brake jobs.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, you can't really put it on backwards, but it is directional. So just put that aside, and the front bearing will come out
With a washer.
with the washer. So, you know, just inspect your bearing, make sure it's good. You know, if you live in California, if you need a new one, Pelican Parts is the move, because it'll ship out to you super quick. And there you have it, you know.
There's a bare spindle.
Yep. And to remove the rotor from the hub, you need two 13 millimeters. Either a little, I don't know what you would call this kind of wrench. What would you call that, Trey?
I don't even know. 90 degree?
It's something like that.
Something like that. I don't know.
Or two ratchets. You got nuts in here and the bolt head on the rear. So we got our little guys right here. And there's just 5 of them, so just...
We'll just work those off and then get back.
And they're good to go. This is an old rotor, so I don't really care to damage it with the vise. But they are kind of on there. They've been on there for Lord knows how long. So nothing little PB blaster can't fix. After you take out the 5 nuts and bolts, there's washers, and this hub is kind of seized on there. Alright, so you stick to the end. But sometimes these are seized on there. All you need is a little 4-pounder or a dead blow. Give it a tap. This one came out with one. I've done these where it takes a couple of little bangs, but you get the point. You're going to be reusing all this hardware. And it's pretty straightforward, you know, with the new rotor. Just make sure you clean it off with some brake cleaner. Slap it back on. Tighten up the bolts. And you're doing everything in reverse order for the fronts. And we'll go ahead and get right to the rears. I lost the washer. Alright.
It's just reverse order from here.
Exactly. Also, a quick little side note, because I'm going through the little hassle. If you do order these Sebro front rotors off of Pelican Parts, the front ones, in the little description it says you need to order 2 to make the complete set, but it's a little mishap on the website because I ordered 2 and they gave me 2 complete sets. So just mind it, order 1 off of Pelican Parts so you don't have to worry about this whole shipping return that they don't. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna bag on Pelican, they're really cool. I get all my stuff super quick. Because, you know, Southern California, I'll order something, gets to my house at least within 2 days. The washer on that front bearing it's got a little notch in it. Grease kind of covered it up, but she's in. Also, when you're putting in this little clamping nut, don't put too much force on it because it'll put too much load on the bearing. So just snug it up. Good to go.
And spin it to see how it all spins freely. You don't want too much resistance. Perfect.
Alright guys, so now we've moved over to the rear of the car, and as far as the caliper goes, same procedure as far as hardware as the fronts, but the rears have a hard line in addition to a flexible one, so you really want to be careful with this one. Don't twist it in an awkward way and find something to set it on. I'm probably going to use my wheel over here, just drag it over, put it on.
Or paint can or whatever.
Yeah, actually I'll get something. I'm going to touch this one up with paint. Like just upgrading eventually in a couple of months when these blow out, so I'm not too concerned about how good they look as long as they break. But yeah, this one's pretty straightforward. Rotor's super easy, bang it out in like 5 minutes. So the rear rotor's pretty simple, pretty much like any other car that I've worked on, Japanese, you know. It's got 2 little bolts in there, Phillips. Bang them out. Now, when they're seized, I got these ones off, but if they're really in there, what I like to do, put the screwdriver in, and you just hammer it. The 4-pounder. And that, you know, that vibration, everything will break it up on the inside, and it'll come out. It usually does.
Oh, and then the e-brake too.
Yeah. Make sure your e-brake is off when you pull these rotors. Any car.
Any car, yeah.
Any car. Because, you know, I've been working on this for 2 days. I did have the e-brake off, but then I put it on and kind of forgot. And I got a little scared. I thought I damaged my little horseshoe e-brake. But no, it's off now. But for this car, M8, any bolt will work. It'll just really help break it off the hub. Goes already. And just like that, good to go. Slap the new one in. Reverse order, as you do. Don't judge me. You should take the caliper off and all that good stuff, but I've already done a good brake flush. Like I said, they're temporary. I'm literally going to change them out in a couple of months for some Willwoods. So, oh yeah. At least, hey, dude, at least it's not like gold or red.
Or red.
Or red, you know. So, for those of you who don't know, Porsche kind of designates what kind of brakes they have based on color or, you know, what model the car is. So, I don't want to be that guy I don't want people to think I'm flexing. Because let's say...
But you're really not?
I'm really not. You know, red brakes on an old Porsche are big reds. You know, factory Brembos off of like 993s and stuff. Old 911 turbos, they have black brakes. Standard 911s have silver. Standard 944s have silver, etc., etc. Even in the new cars, it's just pretty cool. It's a cool little fact. So, like, say, yellow brake calipers, carbon ceramic. That crazy green is hybrids. I'm pretty sure red is standard nowadays, though, or if it's for the sport model. But I haven't paid attention. Yeah, I think they still have silver brakes, but that's like the bottom, like base. So I've been to a few meets and stuff, and some of the older guys were like, "Why this fool got red calipers?" I've had enough. So here we are. All right, so I'm just waiting for that paint to dry up to slap everything back together. But thought I'd give you guys a little update and the plan for where the cars to go. I mean, everyone has a plan, but these cars, the NAs, it's not worth dumping money into the drivetrain to make it more powerful, because if that's the case, you might as well buy a turbo model, because it's going to cost just as much. But I don't want to get rid of this one, my first Porsche. I'm saving up for another one, and until then I'm kind of like being tame because I'm saving money. But the goal for this car is lightness. So I already went ahead and ordered this GT Racing fiberglass hood. If I were you, if you really want to do it, the fitment isn't right, and you have to modify a lot. I had to modify my hinges, I had to modify my deck lid, because the skin fits perfectly on the car, but I guess the quality control of where the mounting holes they put wasn't really there. But it did save a lot of weight. The stock hood is 40-ish pounds up there. This one is 16. Crazy difference. I'm gonna go ahead and start gutting the car. I mean, I've done like the free stuff already. Took the wipers off. The rear shelf, probably good 10, 15 pounds. Really opened up the inside of the car. It's a mess. It's like the storage unit. I haven't used it in like a couple months. Wiring issue, as 944s go. It's one bad thing about them. But yeah, lighter seats. Take out all the sand downing. Replace stuff with Lexan, kind of race car-ish. It's like RS inspired. I'm not going to put an RS badge on it. I'm not that guy, but that's the plan for the car. You know, little thing. It's fun. I'm not a power guy. You know, doesn't matter too much.
Until you start getting in the big leagues.
In my opinion,
It's a crutch, honestly.
don't add power until you've outperformed the car. That's just kind of how it goes. You could say the same thing about suspension, but I like suspension stuff, so I'm already like putting stuff in there little by little. But yeah, just a fun car. You gotta accept it for what it is. Don't make it out to what it's not. Remove all these American bumpers, fiberglass alternatives. It'll be cool.
A lot of cool stuff.
A lot of cool stuff in the world.
The glow up is gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, just so it gives you an idea of what the silver looks like instead of red.
It's a lot cleaner.
A lot cleaner. Back looks better too.
So tomorrow I have to do maintenance on it, on the axles, so I just 3-lugged it just to keep it on. Car's going back up tomorrow. It's starting to get dark. And that's all for now. Alright, so finished today on the storage unit.
Storage unit.
I just 3-lugged the rear because tomorrow I'm going to put her back up, change out the CVs on it. And hopefully this week I ordered some new connectors to fix the wiring issue. It's with my reference sensor where it connects to the harness. But hopefully it'll be good by July 7th. You know, if any of you guys are local to SoCal, we're planning a cruise through Palomar Mountain. It's local to us. We wanted to do Wild, but with all the rain we had earlier this year, it literally washed out 2 out of the 3 roads. The entire 2 out of the 3 roads to get up there. So we want to go up one way, come down another. It'll be a lot of fun, but for now we'll have to do Palomar.
Maybe next time.
Next time for sure. But you know, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe and have a nice day. So you just give it a